Welcome to Algebra 1. The learning goal for this episode is to understand the concept of slope. Since this concept takes longer than 10 minutes, this is part 2 of 2. Please make sure you have viewed part 1 before continuing on with this part, where we'll do the guided practice and self-check sections. Now for our guided practice section. We're going to work through some problems together. You do not need to write down these problems, just step through them with me. At each step, I'm going to prompt you with the question you should be asking yourself. Then I'll pause for about 5 seconds for you to think about it and answer it for yourself. Then I'll show you. So, for this problem, our first question is, what are we trying to do here? What we're trying to do is figure out the slope from the graph of this line. Your next question is, how do we do that? First, we need to think about what slope means. It's our rise over run, or our change in y over our change in x. Now what? Now we pick any 2 points on the line. We try to pick points that are easy to work with, so I picked -1, 1 and 1, -5. But you could pick any points you wish. After we pick the 2 points, what do we do next? Now we calculate our slope by filling in the y-coordinates to calculate our rise and our x-coordinates to calculate our run. In this case, that means we fill in -5 minus 1 to calculate our rise and 1 minus -1 to calculate our run. It's important to remember that you could choose to do it in the opposite order. 1 minus -5 for our rise and -1 minus 1 for our run, and it would still work. What do we do next? Now we simplify, which gives us a slope of -3. Are we finished? Yes, the problem asked us to find the slope and we did, so we're finished. Let's try another example. What are we trying to do here? We're trying to find the slope of the line that goes through these 2 points. What do we do first? We recall our definition and formula for calculating a slope. What's the next step? Now we fill in our y-coordinates to find the rise and our x-coordinates to find the run. Then what? Then we simplify. Our slope in this case is 4/3. Let's try one more example. What are we trying to do here? Again, we're trying to find the slope when given 2 points. What do we do first? We recall our definition and formula for slope. And the next step? We fill in the y-coordinates to calculate the rise and our x-coordinates to calculate the run. Now what? We simplify. In this case, our slope is 0. We're done, but let's take a moment to think about what a slope of 0 really means. What does that mean for this line? A slope of 0 means it's going to be a horizontal line, in this case through y equals 4. Note that the problem didn't ask us to tell them that. The problem just asked for the slope, so we were done when we found 0. But it's always good to think about what your answers mean. Now for the self-check section. In this section, you're going to physically pause the video as you work out the problems on paper in your notebook. Then you'll press play to check to see how you did. You'll have 5 seconds to pause the video after I stop speaking before I show you the solution. Please pause the video now and work out the problem, then press play to check. Here is the solution. Please compare this to your work. Pause the video here if you need more time to compare, then press play again to move to the next problem. Same thing on this problem. Pause the video, write down this problem and work it out in your notebook, then press play to check. Please pause the video now. Here's the solution. Again, pause the video if you need more time to compare this to your work. Let's do one more. Pause the video, write down this problem and work it out in your notebook, then press play to check. Please pause the video now. Here's the solution. Again, pause the video if you need more time to compare this to your work. In closing, let's review our learning goal. We wanted to understand the concept of slope. We did that by defining slope and coming up with a formula to calculate it given any 2 points on the line. Those 2 points can be points we find ourselves on the line when given a graph, or they can be points that are given to us.